Bonjour from Montreal, Quebec, Canada. I am here in the downtown area of the city. Lots of giant skyscrapers, modern buildings, in amongst historical buildings with high fashion brand names. A lot of shopping around here. It's a really interesting area to look around, actually. A lot of stuff to do and see, especially inside the malls, which I'm starting to realize malls are very interesting places, even if you don't enjoy shopping. But this is not my destination. I am just walking through. I am on my way to the Museum of Fine Arts. I think that's what it's called. Fine Art Museum of Montreal, perhaps. It has amazing reviews online, so that's always something I like to do when I see a new city, so I had to check it out. Check out this doorway. It's got a portcullis. I wonder if it's functional. No, it's not. It's funny. Okay, I'm in. $31. Always a little pricey for a museum, I find, but it'll probably be worth it. I adore winter landscapes in painting. I always wonder who is making all of these ornate frames for these paintings. I can confirm that there's a lot of very interesting historical paintings here. A lot of French Impressionism, which is probably my favorite artistic movement, I suppose. This is a pretty big museum, actually. It's got 4 floors, I think. And it's really old. This art museum opened in the 1800s, so there's a really interesting collection here. I'm trying this new thing where I don't stop and linger on every single piece. I only really stop to look at it if it really grabs my attention for some reason. That way, I do not spend the entire day in the art gallery. I think I probably end up missing out on some things by doing that, but I need to figure out how to save time somehow. Well, that was an excellent way to spend a few hours this morning. Now the plan is to find some lunch before walking back to Old Montreal to see another museum. Okay, coming up on the right, Musée d'Archaeologie et d'Histoire, Archaeology and History Museum. I'm assuming this is going to be about local Quebec archaeology and history, but I actually don't know now that I think about it. But I guess I will soon find out. So I came straight down into the basement of the museum, which is where the foundations of a building from the mid-1800s is still visible. This is very cool. So what was it called? It was the Royal Insurance Building. And before that, and the Royal Insurance Building was actually built on top of a cemetery from the 1600s. So there's a lot of archaeology here, hence why there is a specific museum dedicated to it. This was an early cemetery. There were apparently 38 graves here at one time, and then it was eventually moved to a different location because of how flooded this area was. A lot of the information is being projected onto the ruins instead of just written plaques. But this is a super cool way to do it in an archaeological site. It really brings the history to life, and at the same time is super educational without being too invasive on the artifacts. This is interesting. I've never seen a house like this. This is apparently what the dwellings of the Iroquois people look like. Support beams? Yeah, pilings. So the original building was from 1817, and then subsequent buildings have been constructed on top of it. Another one in 1861 and another one in 1832 and 1861, and then this final building in 1992. This is a bridge and covered sewer with this kind of reenactment of it inside. Whoa, it's like the full sewer. This is magical. And it's a sewer. It's amazing what projections can do. This Archaeology and History Museum is in fact also an art museum, apparently. Just came out of the museum. Amazing, but I'm not actually sure that I saw everything because it was a bit of a maze in there. Really enjoyed it though. I was absolutely mesmerized by the sewer. A sentence I'd never thought that I would say in my life, but it was fantastic. I loved how the use of projections in the museum was used instead of like solid plaques. It turned turned what could have been a really dry historical subject into a work of art. And it was really enjoyable to look around there. It's already been a pretty long day of exploring for me. I think it's almost 6 o'clock. I'm not quite finished though. I am finished with museums, but I'm gonna do a little bit more exploring around the Old Port area because I haven't been around there a lot yet. So I'm going to take a quick turn around there and see what there is to see there. I think it's an interesting area. This part hasn't been the old port, by the way. This is like the new port, I guess, the Grand Quay of Montreal. So there are like cruise ships that will dock here, a bunch of ferries. This is like a private function area, I guess. It turns out there isn't actually a ton of stuff to do at the Old Port. It's beautiful. There's this wonderful promenade to walk up and down with these amazing views. There's a couple shops and souvenir stands, some ice cream, stuff like that. But otherwise, just here to admire the view, which is alright. I think just going to end the video here. I'm gonna start heading back to the hotel now. It's about another hour's walk from here, more or less. And these have been some serious long days. I think I've been pulling like 30,000 step days for the past 3 days. So my legs are certainly feeling it. And I have another full day of exploring tomorrow. So I've got to preserve my energy. But yeah, it was really cool exploring around those two museums. Really epic places to check out, actually. That art gallery is definitely one of the better ones in the country, and it was really cool to see that French Impressionist section, like I said. I basically just explored around for like 2 hours in between those two museums, just through the downtown area. Amazing architecture, I think I've said it a couple times. Also the History Museum, I wasn't really sure what to expect with that Archaeology Museum. I didn't know if everything was going to be replicas, and it wasn't. There's actually like an entire foundation of a building from 1850, as well as like that cemetery from the 1600s. So that was really, really cool. And it was really strange that the highlight of that museum for me was the sewer and the projections, of course. It was a very well done museum exhibition. Absolutely loving Montreal so far.